In this video, we'll talk about the latest election in Hungary. We'll discuss what impact it will have on the Russia-Ukraine war. We'll discuss how Hungary's relations with NATO and the European Union will be after the new Prime Minister takes office. So recently elections were held in Hungary in which Viktor Orban, who had been in power for 16 years, faced a decisive defeat. Viktor Orban was the Prime Minister of Hungary. He was leading one of the longest running nationalist governments in Europe. However, he lost in the recent election. Viktor Orban's opponent, Peter Magyar, won the election with a massive majority. Orban had been the Prime Minister of Hungary since 2010. He was known for his nationalist views and Christian conservatism. He was known for his anti-immigration stance. He was known for his inclination towards Russia and China. He was known for rejecting the liberal Western order. During Viktor Orban's long tenure, people's economic frustration gradually increased. Hungary's growth was slowing down. Inflation was rising in the country. Public services were weakening. People in Hungary felt that their lives were not improving. Public funds were being misused. Then allegations of crony capitalism were made against the Orban government. Many people believed that the government was working for its wealthy friends. So people became frustrated with elite politics and corruption in the country. Since Orban was against liberal democracy, this was perceived as democratic backsliding. There was control over the media. The judiciary was weakened. The election system was tilted in ruling party's favor. Because of all this, fairness and accountability were eroding. People didn't like this. Peter Magyar understood these shortcomings of the system from within. This is because he was once part of Viktor Orban's camp. So he knew the system very well. He understood all these weaknesses. So when Magyar strongly challenged this system, he received massive public support. His centre-right party achieved a landslide victory. Magyar said in his campaign that he would fight corruption. He said he would end crony capitalism. He said he would restore the rule of law in the country. He said he would correct Hungary's isolation from the European Union, accelerated under Viktor Orban. All these promises appealed to the people. Viktor Orban was known for his soft stance towards Russian President Vladimir Putin. Because of this, Hungary's ties with the European Union were becoming strained under his leadership. Hungary was being seen as an internal spoiler within the European Union. Magyar promised to fix this. He promised to correct Hungary's position as an outlier within NATO and the European Union. He promised to restore the liberal order. He received public support for this. Magyar says that he wants to strengthen democracy, the rule of law and institutions. In contrast, Viktor Orban challenged these things. He blocked decisions of the European Union. He opposed European sanctions on Russia. He promoted nationalism instead of integration with Europe. In contrast, Magyar wants Hungary to integrate more closely with the European Union and NATO. He wants democratic institutions to be restored. He wants frozen European Union funds to be released. Viktor Orban often delayed or blocked aid packages sent by the European Union to Ukraine. Under his leadership, Hungary opposed Ukraine's membership in the European Union. He believed that this move would anger Russia. He believed it would escalate the war. He believed Europe would have to pay the price. Hungary depends on Russia for energy. It has signed economic cooperation plans with Russia. These cover energy, trade and culture. Therefore, Viktor Orban did not openly take an anti-Russia stance. Magyar believes that all these actions slowed down Western support going to Ukraine. He believes that this gave Russia diplomatic breathing room. Viktor Orban had good relations with Vladimir Putin. However, he did not have good relations with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Both leaders often targeted each other. After winning the election, Peter Magyar said that when it comes to energy pragmatism, he will continue the previous administration's policies. This is because Russian energy is the cheapest and safest for Hungary. So Magyar said he will continue this. However, at the same time, he will support Ukraine's sovereignty. Hungary will not be militarily involved in the war, but it will support Ukraine's sovereignty. He will ask Russia to end the war. Under Orban, Hungary acted like a veto point for Russia within the European Union. Magyar will stop this. Under Magyar, the European Union will be able to smoothly provide aid to Ukraine. It will also be able to impose sanctions on Russia. So with the fall of the Orban government, a reliable foothold of Russia within the European Union and NATO has ended. That is why Orban's defeat is seen as a setback for Russia. It is being seen as a victory for Ukraine. Now, Hungary will not create obstacles in European aid going to Ukraine. Hungary's new Prime Minister Peter Magyar will not be as friendly with Vladimir Putin as Viktor Orban was. So his coming to power will reduce Russia's influence within the European Union. Viktor Orban was also supported by Donald Trump. That is why during the campaign, US Vice President J.D. Vance visited Hungary to support Viktor Orban. However, despite open support from Trump and his allies, Orban could not win. Hungarian voters rejected Orban-style politics. This shows that even with external backing, if there is internal dissatisfaction, you cannot win elections. If your people are dissatisfied with you, you will not win elections. Magyar says that he will work towards eliminating corruption. He will improve governance. However, on the issue of migration, he is also conservative. He will also be careful on social issues. So it is important to note that Peter Magyar is not a completely liberal leader. He is centre-right. However, he is not as populist a leader as Orban. But still he is not completely liberal. However, with his arrival, the unity of the European Union on Ukraine will strengthen. Viktor Orban's defeat shows that when the economy is not performing well, and when there is an economic crisis in the country, then populism alone cannot win you elections. Populism has its own limitations. When there is a cost of living crisis in the country, people do not vote based on the ideology. They choose better governance and less corruption. They vote for economic stability. And this is a global trend. It is not only seen in Hungary, it is visible everywhere. If Donald Trump does not change, he may also face the same outcome in the midterms. Now Peter Magyar faces a big challenge. He has to fix institutions. He has to stabilize the economy. He has to meet the high expectations of the people. Winning an election is difficult, but reforming the system and meeting public expectations is even more difficult. People may tolerate strong leaders for some time, but if the economy does not perform well, then there is strong pushback from the public. And how much power the public holds, we have seen this again and again. Under Viktor Orban, Hungary followed a transactional approach. It did not assume any military role. The same will continue under Peter Magyar in the Russia-Ukraine war. This approach will be maintained. Hungary's stance on energy security will also be maintained. Importing cheap oil from Russia will continue. The only change will be that Magyar will align more with the European Union's diplomatic language. He will not create obstacles like Orban. With Magyar's arrival, the European voice will be amplified. Under Orban, Hungary was seen as a problematic member of the European Union. This will end. The European Union cohesion funds that were frozen will be released. Trust between Hungary and the European Union will be restored. NATO unity will be strengthened. In a way, Hungary will re-enter the mainstream, and the divisions within the Western Bloc will reduce. Under Orban, Hungary delayed Sweden's accession to NATO. Hungary opted out of some aid packages given by NATO to Ukraine. This was because Viktor Orban believed that NATO should remain strictly defensive. He believed the war should not be escalated. He believed no troop deployment should be made. After Orban, the new government under Magyar will be more cooperative with the European Union and NATO. This will reduce friction between Hungary and the European Union. As discussed earlier, relations with Russia will remain pragmatic and energy-driven. They will remain similar to before. Hungary has Soviet-era infrastructure. Hungary's geography is such that it will remain dependent on Russian hydrocarbons. Cheap energy from Russia helps Hungarian governments subsidize energy prices. This gives them political advantage. To maintain popularity, Magyar will continue this. He will not disturb it. So Russia's exports to Hungary will continue. But Russia will lose its veto proxy within the Western club in Europe. Therefore, Viktor Orban's defeat in Hungary's latest election is being seen as an inflection point. An internal disruptor within the European Union is gone. Pressure on aid to Ukraine has reduced. Russia's leverage has decreased. European Union cohesion has increased. NATO unity has strengthened. Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump have faced a loss. It will be seen as a strategic setback for them. So this event is being seen as a political earthquake. In the coming months, it will become clear how Peter Magyar delivers on his promises.